The catalyst. The first warning came from deep beneath Nevada's desert floor. Mining operations worldwide reported identical anomalies. Iron deposits were disappearing. Not extracted or stolen, but vanishing at the molecular level, leaving behind perfectly spherical voids in the bedrock. Dr. Sarah Chen ran her fingers across the smooth surface of the cavity wall, feeling nothing but polished stone where rich iron ore should have been. As Earth's leading geological physicist, she'd seen her share of mysteries, but this defied every natural law she knew. The samples from Brazil match exactly. Her assistant Mark called from across the excavation site. Whatever's doing this, it's happening simultaneously across the planet. Sarah's tablet pinged with an urgent message from the International Geological Survey. Similar reports flooded in from Australia, South Africa, Russia. Earth's iron was being systematically drained, and nobody knew how or why. The answer arrived 3 days later. Sarah was analyzing molecular decay patterns in her Berkeley lab when every screen in the building flickered to life. A figure appeared, humanoid but wrong. Its skin rippled like mercury, and where eyes should have been, swirling vortexes of light pulsed in hypnotic patterns. Inhabitants of Terra, the being spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds rather than through speakers. We are the Zephyrin Collective. Your planet contains resources vital to our survival. We require access to your iron core. Cooperation will ensure minimal disruption to your species. The transmission ended as suddenly as it began. Within hours, massive crystalline ships materialized in orbit, their surfaces refracting sunlight into prismatic displays that could be seen from the ground. World leaders convened emergency sessions. Military forces mobilized. Scientists scrambled to understand the technology that allowed matter to simply disappear. Sarah found herself summoned to an underground bunker in Virginia, where humanity's response would be coordinated. General Patricia Williams commanded the Joint Task Force. Dr. Chen, we need to understand their extraction process. Can they really drain our core? Sarah pulled up her calculations. Based on the depletion rate I've observed, they could destabilize our magnetic field within months. Without it, solar radiation would strip away our atmosphere. Then we negotiate, suggested Director Ahmed from the UN. Perhaps we can offer surface iron, limit their access. The first diplomatic mission launched 48 hours later. Ambassador Harrison, accompanied by a team of scientists including Sarah, approached the lead Zephyrin vessel in a modified shuttle. The aliens permitted docking. Inside, the ship defied human comprehension. Corridors shifted like living tissue, walls breathed, and gravity seemed negotiable. The Zephyrins themselves moved through spaces that shouldn't exist, their forms constantly shifting between solid and ethereal states. Commander Vex, the designated spokesperson, received them in what passed for a meeting chamber. Its form stabilized into something vaguely humanoid for their benefit. "We appreciate your willingness to communicate," Harrison began. "However, we cannot allow access to our planet's core. Perhaps we can negotiate alternative sources." Vex's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "You misunderstand your position. We do not request. We inform. Your iron will be extracted. Your species may relocate to the polar regions during the process. Some of you will survive." Sarah stepped forward. "Your technology is clearly advanced, but you must understand the consequences. Earth's core generates our magnetic field. Without it, life here dies." "Life adapts," Vex replied, "or it does not. This is the way of the universe." The meeting ended with humanity's terms rejected. As their shuttle departed, Sarah noticed something that would change everything. The Zephyrin ship's hull showed signs of corrosion, where Earth's atmosphere had touched it directly. She discreetly collected samples of the degraded material. Back in her lab, Sarah's discovery sent shockwaves through the resistance forming worldwide. The Zephyrins' advanced metallurgy, the foundation of their technology, was vulnerable to a specific combination of Earth's atmospheric components and trace minerals found in human blood. The Seattle incident marked humanity's first real response. when a Zephyrin extraction platform descended toward the Cascade Range. A group of Boeing engineers led by Jim Rodriguez had prepared something special. They'd modified crop-dusting aircraft to spray a cocktail of human blood plasma and concentrated atmospheric compounds. The effect was immediate and devastating. The platform's hull began dissolving like sugar in rain. Zephyrin technology, so dependent on their exotic alloys, failed catastrophically. The platform crashed into Puget Sound, and humanity had its first victory. But the Zephyrins learned too. They adapted their shields, sent hunter-killer drones after resistance cells, and accelerated their extraction timeline. Earth's governments officially surrendered, declaring resistance futile. Humanity, however, had other ideas. In hidden bunkers and abandoned mines, in university basements and mountain caves, humans did what they'd always done when faced with extinction. They adapted. They improvised. They refused to die quietly. Sarah found herself leading a cell of scientists and engineers in an abandoned no-raid facility. They called themselves the Iron Hearts, and their mission was simple: find a way to turn Earth's greatest vulnerability into its greatest weapon. The breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Maria Santos, a biochemist who'd joined their cell, discovered that humans exposed to Zephyrin energy fields developed a unique antibody. This antibody, when combined with ionized iron particles, created a substance that didn't just corrode Zephyrin technology, it converted it. Their ships, their weapons, everything they've built depends on a specific quantum resonance. Maria explained to the gathered resistance leaders via encrypted channels. This compound disrupts that resonance. We can literally turn their technology against them. The first field test came when the Zephyrins attempted to establish a major extraction facility in the Sahara. Resistance fighters, their blood now carrying the weaponized antibodies, allowed themselves to be captured. When brought aboard the Zephyrin command ship, they triggered hidden dispensers, releasing aerosolized compounds into the ship's atmosphere. The effect cascaded through the vessel's systems. Control panels flickered and died. Hull integrity failed. The mighty Zephyrin dreadnought, impervious to nuclear weapons, began eating itself from the inside out. As news of the victory spread through underground networks, something unexpected happened. Humans began to change. Those exposed to Zephyrin energy fields found their bodies adapting, developing resistances not just to alien technology, but enhancing their own capabilities. Reaction times increased. Healing accelerated. Some reported sensing electromagnetic fields. The war for Earth had triggered an evolutionary jump. Commander Vex, aboard the last intact Zephyrin vessel in orbit, studied the reports with something approaching respect. These primitives, these humans, were proving far more adaptable than any species the collective had encountered. Perhaps, Vex mused to its subordinates, we underestimated the value of biological diversity. But the war was far from over. The Zephyrins still held massive advantages in technology and resources. They began adapting their own systems, creating hybrid technologies that incorporated organic elements resistant to human weapons. As Sarah stood in the command center of the resistance, watching global reports of small victories and devastating losses, she knew humanity faced its greatest test. They'd proven they could hurt the Zephyrins, even kill them. But could they win a war against a galactic empire? The answer would come in fire and blood, in genius and sacrifice, in humanity's absolute refusal to go gentle into that good night. The Zephyrins had come for Earth's resources. They were about to learn why humans had survived every extinction event their planet had thrown at them. The real war was just beginning. The reckoning. 6 months into the war, humanity had transformed. Underground cities flourished beneath major metropolitan ruins. Resistance cells communicated through quantum-encrypted networks the Zephyrins couldn't crack. Most importantly, humans were evolving at an unprecedented rate. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled leaders of the Global Resistance Council, her own transformation evident. Her eyes now carried a subtle luminescence, a side effect of prolonged exposure to Zephyrin energy fields. Around the table sat others who bore similar marks of evolution: enhanced reflexes, improved cellular regeneration, and in some cases, the ability to interface directly with alien technology. The Yellowstone caldera. Sarah began, projecting a holographic map. The Zephyrans are constructing their largest extraction platform yet. If they succeed in tapping into the magma chamber, they'll have direct access to Earth's mantle. Colonel Jack Thompson, former U.S. Marine and now commander of North American Resistance Forces, leaned forward. How long until it's operational? 2 weeks, maybe less, Sarah replied. But we've identified a critical vulnerability. The platform requires a specific harmonic frequency to maintain quantum coherence during the drilling phase. If we can disrupt that frequency, the whole thing goes boom, finished Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the Resistance's chief weapons developer. She'd lost her left arm in the Tokyo bombing, but had replaced it with a hybrid prosthetic that could interface with both human and Zephyran systems. The plan they developed was audacious. Using captured Zephyran technology modified with human biological components, they would create a resonance weapon capable of destabilizing the extraction platform. The catch: someone would need to get close enough to deploy it, likely a one-way mission. Captain Jim Rodriguez volunteered immediately. The former Boeing engineer had become one of humanity's most effective field commanders. My team knows Zephyran installations better than anyone. We'll get it done. As preparations for the Yellowstone assault began, an unexpected development changed everything. A Zephyran scout ship crashed in the Australian outback, its pilot alive but gravely injured. Instead of the usual kill order, Resistance Command decided to attempt something unprecedented: communication. The pilot, designation 647, was unlike any Zephyran they'd encountered. Younger, its form less stable, it seemed almost curious about humans. Under careful guard and with Sarah leading the interrogation, they learned the truth about the Zephyran collective. "We are dying," 647 transmitted telepathically, its form flickering weakly. "Our homeworld's core depleted generations ago. We survive by harvesting others. But something is wrong with the process. Each world we drain hastens our decay." Sarah felt a mix of revulsion and pity. "So you destroy entire civilizations to delay your own extinction." The collective sees no alternative. But some of us, we begin to question. "Your species fascinates us. You adapt without consuming worlds. You grow stronger through cooperation, not consumption." This revelation sparked heated debate within the Resistance. Some saw an opportunity for alliance. Others wanted to exploit the division within Zephyran ranks. Sarah proposed a third option: show the Zephyrans a different path. The Battle of Yellowstone began at dawn. Rodriguez's team, now including several humans who could interface directly with Zephyran technology, infiltrated the massive platform. The structure defied physics, existing partially in dimensions humans could barely perceive. As they fought their way to the central resonance chamber, the tide of battle shifted. Zephyran warriors adapted their tactics in real time, their weapons reconfiguring to counter human advantages. Rodriguez lost half his team before reaching the objective. But humans had their own adaptations. Maria Santos had developed a biological virus that targeted the quantum signatures of Zephyran technology. Released into the platform's ventilation system, it began converting alien alloys into organic compounds that obeyed human command. The platform's defenses turned against their creators. Walls became allies, weapons refused to fire on humans, and the very structure began to reshape itself according to human will. At the resonance chamber's heart, Rodriguez found something unexpected. Commander Vex stood waiting, not with weapons, but with an offer. "Your species has proven instructive," Vex transmitted. "We have observed your adaptability, your cooperation, your refusal to accept extinction. Perhaps there is wisdom in your methods." Rodriguez kept his weapon trained on the alien commander. "Pretty words won't bring back the billions you've killed." "No," Vex agreed. "But perhaps we can prevent future deaths. A faction within the collective seeks a new path. We propose an exchange: our technology for your biological adaptability. Together, we might find a solution that doesn't require consuming worlds. The resonance weapon in Rodriguez's hand could end the threat to Yellowstone, possibly cripple the entire Zephyrin fleet. But something in Vex's words, or perhaps the growing understanding that came with humanity's evolution, made him hesitate. "Sarah," he called through the quantum comm, "you need to hear this." What followed was the most crucial negotiation in human history. As the battle raged around the platform, Sarah, Rodriguez, and Vex brokered a ceasefire that would reshape the galaxy. The Zephyrins would cease their extraction efforts. In return, humanity would share the secret of their adaptability, not their technology, but their biology itself. The antibodies humans had developed, the evolutionary leaps triggered by exposure to Zephyrin energy, these held the key to the collective survival without planetary consumption. What followed was the most crucial negotiation in human history. As the battle raged around the platform, Sarah, Rodriguez, and Vex brokered a ceasefire that would reshape the galaxy. The Zephyrins would cease their extraction efforts. In return, humanity would share the secret of their adaptability, not their technology, but their biology itself. The antibodies humans had developed, the evolutionary leaps triggered by exposure to Zephyrin energy, these held the key to the collective survival without planetary consumption. Not all Zephyrins accepted this treaty. Hardliners attempted a final assault, bringing their full fleet to bear on Earth, but they hadn't counted on humanity's final evolution. The months of war, the constant exposure to alien energies, the forced adaptation to survive, all had pushed humanity past a threshold. Across the globe, humans began manifesting abilities that transcended their biological origins. Some could manipulate electromagnetic fields. Others phased partially into the dimensions the Zephyrins inhabited. A few, like Sarah, developed true telepathic capabilities. The battle for Earth became a testament to human potential. Working alongside rebel Zephyrins, humans turned the tide decisively. They didn't just repel the invasion. They offered the aggressors a choice: evolve or perish. The war's end found Earth fundamentally changed. Cities rebuilt with hybrid technology that merged human intuition with Zephyrin advancement. The planet's biosphere, enhanced rather than depleted, flourished in ways previously impossible. Humanity had not just survived, they had transcended their limitations. A year later, Sarah stood with Vex on the observation deck of New Geneva Station, Earth's first true spaceport. Below them, the planet gleamed with health, its electromagnetic field stronger than ever thanks to collaborative restoration efforts. "Your species continues to surprise," Vex observed, its form now stable and permanent after undergoing the hybrid transformation process. "We came as conquerors and leave as partners." Sarah smiled, her enhanced vision picking up energy patterns invisible to her former human eyes. "That's what we do. We adapt. We overcome. And when possible, we transform our enemies into allies." The first joint human Zephyrin exploration vessel launched that day, headed for the stars with a crew that represented the best of both species. They carried a message of hope, that evolution through cooperation, not consumption, was the path to survival. The Zephyrins had come for Earth's resources. Instead, they found something far more valuable: a species that could teach them how to evolve beyond their limitations. Humanity had not just won a war, they had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. In the end, the greatest resource Earth possessed wasn't iron or water or any mineral wealth. It was the unlimited potential of the human spirit, the capacity to adapt, to forgive, and to transform even the darkest conflict into an opportunity for growth. The war was over. The real adventure, humanity's journey to the stars, had just begun.